everyone, it's Ellie. I would just like to say a few words before starting the interview. If you haven't watched it already, I actually released a presentation video about Jay a few weeks ago, which was based on the following interview. It's basically a summary of the talk we had together, with a focus on his musical evolution. So if you aren't that familiar with Jay Kim's music, I recommend you to watch it first. It's about 13 minutes. Now, for this interview, I didn't want something too formal, but rather a more casual talk, and I think we managed to do this. Thank you again, Jay, for trusting me with this interview. It really means a lot. All his social and streaming platforms are linked in the description. Enjoy, and don't forget to like and share. Could you introduce yourself and maybe tell us a bit about your background?
My name's Jay Kim. That's my real name and my artist name. I formerly used to be known as J to the Kim. I am 22 years old. I'm a South Korean American artist. I was born in Daegu, South Korea. Um, I lived in Maryland for a little bit. We moved to America when I was very young, like around 2 years old.
Okay.
But I moved from Maryland to North Carolina when I was like around 7 years old. And I consider North Carolina like where I grew up, and that's my home. I've been making music. I've been making music since I was about 10. Um,
Okay.
but yeah,
It's been a lot.
yeah.
So you started at 10, but you officially started to release on SoundCloud in 2017, or was it before?
So, the full story is in 2016,
Mm-hmm.
maybe like early 2016.
Okay.
Me and my friends, it was either like my late junior year of high school or early senior year.
Mm-hmm.
Me and my friends, we would just like rap freestyle for fun in the car. So we decided to
Okay.
record a song one day, and we put it out on SoundCloud. And we had like this little group that we made that was called Hotbox Gang.
Okay.
And yeah, that was 2016. And then 2017, I believe that's when I started putting out solo stuff.
Once again, so you said you started in 2000 um, at 10, kinda, and like, why and how did you start? Like, because
Yeah.
before freestyling and all?
So when I was like 9, um I was in the church that I was going to had a music program.
Mm-hmm.
It was like a conservatory.
Okay.
So I was going there. I think it was like during the summer. I was like 9 years old, and we choose like an elective, like an instrument that we want to learn. So I chosen guitar. So that's like playing guitar. I think I'm trying to remember if it was like if guitar or hip hop was like my first like
Mm.
taste of music, but either way, I started learning guitar in conservatory when I was like 9 years old, and just became obsessed with it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like literally every day, I would just come during the summer. I would come home and just play guitar until I had to go to sleep, and then when school started again, I would go to school, come home, and just practice guitar, and we'll do homework, practice guitar, and then go to sleep. Um, but then at the same, I want to say like around the same time,
Mm-hmm.
um, during a school year, I had gone on a field trip to somewhere, and my first like friend that I had made since like moving to North Carolina, like my first like American friend I had made, had shown me. We were on the bus, and he's listening to his iPod, and he gives me his earphones, and he plays Lil Wayne, the Carter
Oh
2
yeah.
album, and he plays Fireman, I think. And that was like I want to say that was like my first taste of hip hop. And I heard that, and I fell in love with Lil Wayne first. Like Lil Wayne was definitely my
Mm.
first hip hop artist that I fell in love with. And yeah, from then on I just went to this, just listening to more and more. I went from Lil Wayne to Kanye to Kid Cudi, And then at the same time, like I'm listening to hip hop, and then from me learning guitar, songs that I could learn on guitar led me to discovering bands like Linkin Park, All American Reject, Paramore, just bands like that. So like I was 10 years old actively like discovering hip hop and punk rock and punk pop and all that, and it was just a big blend of influences that like jump started my love for music. But I'll say like definitely from around that age, like I became obsessed with music. Like music is definitely like I knew since I was 10 years old, like music is definitely like the love of my life.
Since it's something you started at a young age, how did your family and your friends reacted? Like, did they support you on this in this, and especially when it became like a real thing?
Yeah, so ever since I was like 9, 10 years old,
Mm-hmm,
um the only family I really have here is my mom and dad. A lot of my
mm-hmm,
family is back in Korea, and I have like family here and there scattered throughout the states. But I'll say my mom and dad have like, thankfully, they've been like more than 100% supportive of my music.
okay.
Like even like when we were struggling, my mom would like save up money from her shitty job she was working and like bought me my first
Mm,
guitar. And yeah, so my mom was definitely supportive. She knew for a fact that like music is like my my passion in this life.
mm,
Um so and then when I started putting out music like hip hop music and
yeah.
started rapping, she kind of I don't think I really showed her, but she knew I was doing because I knew she heard me in my room like recording. So I know she was like when I was first like putting stuff out, I don't think she really thought much of it. And then once I started gaining a bit of a following, maybe like 2017,
Mm-hmm.
2018, she would definitely start listening to every song I started putting out. And yeah, thankfully my mom is like my biggest supporter.
Okay, that's great to know. Because so I must admit that I asked this question because that's kind of a current no a common topic in your lyrics, like some like people who like waiting you to fail or like fake people, especially in your first tracks. So I was wondering if you had some problem with maybe like acquaintance or
Uh,
thing like that. You don't have to answer this though.
no, yeah. It's funny. Like when we first started making music, like when I was with my friends and in that high school period, the
Mhm.
music that we were putting out, like it was like so I went to I don't know if I should say like the high school, but I went to this one high school and we were putting out songs as a group, and then this like rival school that everyone like we consider them our rival in like
Okay.
sports and basically everything. They had a couple kids who like had a
Mhm.
little like group and they would put out music. So like
Okay.
when we first started putting out music, it was like a lot of like it was diss tracks towards like each other just for like it was never really anything serious, but like just for fun.
Okay.
So I think like when I first started writing music, like I started to write about like just like enemies, people that like don't want the best for me. And I think
Mhm.
that's where that sentiment kind of stemmed from.
Mhm.
But other than that, I've had like I mean, I've definitely gotten like I'm past it now, but I've definitely gotten a lot of like messages like people who were not the biggest fans of my music when I was starting out. And
Mm.
I think you tend to see the hate more than the love. So
Mm.
I think that was in the back of my head a lot when I was first starting to write music.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. I feel that.
Yeah.
Um, and so that's pretty much linked with the next question is so besides this, when writing lyrics, where comes your inspiration from? Like, is it for you to write lyrics or like?
I'd say like honestly just my like
Mm,
I'd say like first would be my life experiences.
mm-hmm,
And then it's also from like drawing from what other people I know have been through, like people I'm close to, just like experiences that I know they've gone through,
mm,
relationships that they've had with other people. But also, of course, like first and foremost, drawing from my own life
mm,
experiences and relationships with other people, just things that I've been through. I'll also say like definitely movies.
mm,
Um, like like sometimes, a lot of times when I try to write music, I'll try to invoke the feeling that I got from watching a movie, if that makes sense.
mm.
Like, like it's so hard to like put it, but
Yeah.
I'll try to like create a similar vibe from maybe a movie or an anime that I recently watched. Like try to incorporate that into a song, if that makes sense.
It does. Okay, okay.
Awesome.
No, it's okay. Perfect. um, so, as a consequence, how would you describe your creative process? So, usually, do you have some lyrics or like a topic in mind, and you select a beat accordingly, or sometimes you just hear like a fire beat and and you write lyrics based on it?
Writing. Okay, so my process nowadays is I definitely have to hear the beat first. I
Okay.
definitely look for the beat first. And that's something I really struggle with. Like
Mm,
like really throughout the day, like every day I'm going through beats.
okay.
Like every like all day, every day. If I'm not doing something else, like I'm on my phone, on my email, going through beats, going through Dropbox, going through beats that people have sent me. But it's so hard for me to find a beat I like.
Mm,
Um, I think the important part for me before anything is definitely the melody. If I hear like I know if I'm gonna I know if I'm gonna record to a beat within the first 10 seconds of the beat because I'll know if I like the
mm,
melody or not. Like even if the drums are trash, that can be fixed later on. But
mm,
if I hear a melody I like that speaks to me that I know I can create a song to. That's definitely the most important part. So if I find a beat I like, I'll pull it up and I'll find the BPM and the key and then I'll just start recording. So I'll just
mhm,
start freestyling. I'll record like maybe like two or three freestyles and then I'll try to like turn the gibberish freestyle into words and go from there. Just take like the catchiest parts.
mm. And so, yeah, you produce a little bit too, if I'm correct.
Yeah,
And so maybe like, would you like to produce more of your songs in the future, or it's not something that you have in mind right now?
producing is definitely something I want to master. Well, I mean,
Okay.
obviously it's not something you can like master, but something I definitely want to get a lot better at
Mhm,
because I feel like when you're an artist and you can produce, you have so much more creative freedom. Like the possibilities
mm,
are literally endless. And like if I could I've been producing since like I started making music, but to be frank, it's not something that grabs my attention or something that interests me as much as recording, writing songs.
mm,
But I'd definitely like to turn that like into more of an interest for myself. Um, yeah, I would love to. That's like definitely one of my goals this year is to get a lot better at producing, just so I can craft my own sound more accurately.
Yeah, I get your point.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, thank you. Um, and so um, I think it was in 2019. And I think it was with the song "Don't Speak to Me." You started to use the tag "Jay, you don't really love me."
Yeah.
So is there, is there a story behind it, or?
So Everyone asks me that, and there's not some like it's not some crazy story,
It's
but
because it's funny.
yeah, it is. It's a funny tag. I definitely get like my friends definitely like to mimic her voice and say that to me. But the story behind it is at that time like I started listening to Lil Tecca.
Okay.
And Lil Tecca has a tag, and it's like we love you Tecca, and
Mm-hmm.
I was really liking a lot of his songs at the time, so I was like, man, I want a tag because I'd seen producers have tags. I know
Mm-hmm.
producers have tags, but I think he was one of the first artists that I listened to that had a tag as an artist, which I thought was really cool. But I think he
Mm,
produced
yeah.
well, so maybe that's from it. But I was like, I want a tag, and like I could have got like, well, I'll just tell you what I did. So I went on Fiverr.
Mm-hmm.
I wrote down like a bunch of like little saying like these cringy sayings that I thought would be cool for my tag. So I just wrote all these down, and I looked up like girls who will say something for you, and I probably found like I don't know if she was the first one or the second one I found, but I basically found this girl, paid her $5 to record like a minute of her saying all of these like little catchphrases, and then maybe like a day or two later she sent a file back, and I pulled it up in Logic,
Mm-hmm.
started listening, and then maybe like 20 seconds in, she said, Jay, you don't really love me. And then I was like, yo, that's it. That's the one. I need that. So I cut that up. I mixed it a little bit, put some effects on it, and I was like, let me
Mm-hmm.
see how this sounds. And I had Don't Speak. I don't know if I started working on Don't Speak to Me after or before, but I think it was like at the time I hadn't put out a lot of music. So I think when I came up with Don't Speak to Me, I put the tag in. I think I recorded like an Instagram story,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, I'm back and I have a tag. It's probably in my archive somewhere, but and I put it in Don't Speak to Me at the beginning, and I was like, yeah, it hits.
Okay, so it's not like an ex you recorded and like
Yeah,
no,
nothing.
no.
It's nothing crazy, but that's how the tag
No,
came
but
to be.
that's a good, to be honest, that's a good story. And you're right though, because it's true that I don't know a lot of artists who use like a tag when they are just, rapping and not like producing. So
Yeah, I've seen a
it's
lot more recently. Like
maybe more, yeah.
I've seen DaBaby have one.
Mm.
Um, Breakins has one. A lot of artists have them now, but I think mine's like definitely like top five.
Yeah, one hits. Really, it's a lot. The other day, so it's a parenthesis, but like the other day, so in Yes Junior 24 with just Yes Junior 24 collab,
Mhm.
when I hear your tag, I was like, no, hold on.
That's so funny. When I
Yeah,
do
no.
when I do collabs, everyone I've done collabs with recently has used them, but like when I send them my vocals, I'll send them the tag too. Like I'll put it where I want it, and then I'll send it to them, and I'll be
Mm.
like, and I'll like text them or DM them. I'll be like, hey, I sent my tag too. You don't have to use it,
But
but it would be sick if you did, and they usually do because I think I think it's cool to have like my tag on collabs. I think it's like a fun way to do collabs.
yeah, I do agree with that. No, no, really. So kind of on another type of question. So, how would you describe your music, and what do you want to convey to the people who are listening to you? What do you want them to feel, basically?
I would describe my music as ever changing because it's hard for me to stick to a certain style, even though I think it's important for an artist to have their own sound.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I think my music tastes change a lot. And from day one, I've set out to make what I like. So, and what I like changes a lot. And that's like something like I struggled with early on, but now I'm just like, fuck it, I'm just gonna make what I like. So,
Mm-mm.
and my taste, like I said, my music taste changed a lot. But all in all, I want to provide a soundtrack for kids, people, everyone, just to have something to live their life to, like I had when I was growing up. Like when I was growing, I would, I want to make the music that 15-year-old me would have been blown away and obsessed with by. Um, yeah, I would just like to provide a soundtrack for kids to live their life
Okay.
to.
And that's funny because it's basically linked with what I was going to ask. So I think maybe we can save this one because so as you saw in the question, I wanted to ask you because it's true that uh, I think I've been listening to you since 2018 or end 2017, but maybe more debut 2018. I don't really remember.
That sounds right.
I think it was to be honest with you, it was I think I got to know you through the
It was Loner or
channel.
Clones or
Yeah,
maybe
it was with one of
it's like
those
that
one.
era.
And it was on the channel Underrated Underground Soul, I think.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah. It was like, man, Underground Soul. I hope they have. I haven't. I don't know how they're doing. Like, I know the guy who runs it, and I think he was like the first channel to ever put my music up, and I was so surprised because he had like a semi-large channel. Um, but yeah, I think I definitely gained like my first few core fans from him. So shout out to Underground Soul,
Yeah,
definitely.
totally. I got to know a lot of artists thanks to them too. So I'm grateful too.
Facts.
um, no, really. So now I can say that it's been a while, and I also listen to you a lot. So that's why. So I notice, but maybe I'm wrong. Like maybe there have been a lot of shifts in your music. That's right. That maybe like two main shifts. Like um, the first one would be maybe in 2019 because at the beginning you were more like what I can describe as nocturnal trap. Maybe like it was really a nighty vibes,
Definitely.
and then so it was kind and so in 2019 with makeshift and sing stars the vibe kinda gets brighter, I think.
100%. Yeah.
Okay. And then in 2020 with noises you went maybe more for some rock
Pop.
vibes and pop, like pop rock, kind
Yeah.
of mix of the two. No, yeah, noises was more pop, sorry. and so well, right now you are going for hyperpop, even so you're going a step
Yeah.
even further.
You know that, but they don't yet.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah.
The time I edit all of this, I think you will
Yeah.
have it
Probably.
released.
I think
um,
so. We'll see.
no, the editing will take a lot of time. Uh, I think
Okay.
for the video itself. But so are there specific reasons for those changes, or?
Yeah. So, like I said earlier, like I make what I like, and what I like
Mhm,
changes a lot. So, in the first era where I was taking music seriously, what I liked was like R&B trap. I'll
mhm,
say I was listening to artists like Travis Scott was a big influence when I was in high school. Like
mhm,
I was in love with like I had found Days Before Rodeo,
mhm,
and oh god, they'll kill me if I get this wrong, but it's I want to say 2014 or 2015, but I'd come across Days Before Rodeo by Travis Scott on Spinrilla, and like no one, I mean I know he was like co-signed by like Kanye or this and that, but I'd fall in love with Travis's music. So I was listening to artists like Travis, Party Next Door, Forever Friday, The Weekend.
mhm,
So like that like R&B trap sound
mhm,
was definitely like what I was listening to when I first started making music. And then around the makeshifts and seeing stars era, I was listening to a lot of emo rap. I was listening
Mhm.
to a lot of I was listening to a lot of XXX
Mhm.
Tentacion. I was listening to Ian Dior, Lil Peep. Um, God, I'm leaving out so many people. Um, Underground wise, I was listening to people like Tommy Ice, Kevin Kazi, 909 Memphis, Steel 11, PPG Casper. So like those artists were feeling that era, and then now, like noises is inspired by more like I've I've come back to I really didn't like pop music
Okay.
in the past years, but recently I've fallen back into liking pop music um like Black Bear, Dominic Fike, um The Weeknd also again with his like more like retro 80s stuff.
Mhm.
And then yeah, so my music tastes change a lot. Like I'll have on Spotify, I make a new playlist like every week or two with just like 10 to 20 songs I like at the
Mm.
time. And I just listen to those songs over and over and over until I get bored of them.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, it's hard for me to stay hyper focused on what I like and also what I make.
Mhm.
So um I just lost my train of thought. Um but yeah, what I like and what I make changes a lot. So but I
Mhm.
also think I incorporate like definitely like key elements from that are true to like my own sound that
Mhm.
I like incorporate with when what I like changes,
Mhm.
if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, so again, as a listeners talking, I can say that that's something that's I think really impressive with you is that uh, um, whatever the genre is, you really, as I told you before, manage to absorb it. Like you manage to take the codes, but it's really your own sound. Like it's not like as if J. Kim was like copying a style, but really like I don't know. It's like
Yeah. I'll say
J.
this.
Kim's. Okay.
I would I would hate to make one kind of music
Mm,
for a long period of time. I would hate to be stuck and boxed in a genre. I
mm-hmm,
want I want to make I want to make emo rap. I want to make pop punk. I
mm-hmm,
want to pop. I want to make hyper pop. I want to make digicore. I want to
mm,
R&B. I want to do indie. I want
mm,
to I just want to I want to I don't want to like be I don't want to be labeled as a specific genre kind of artist. I
mm,
think it's boring. If I suddenly try a different sound, it'll be because one, it's what I like at the time, but
mm-hmm,
more importantly, like it's fun. Like I can't
mm,
make if I make music and I'm not having fun, like I cannot do it.
mm.
Like if I ever stop having fun like making music, I'll probably just I don't know, I'll probably just move to like a remote island somewhere and live in but yeah, definitely having fun like is really important for me to make the music I want.
So when it comes to features, featurings and all, how do you decide who to work with?
Yeah, so
Mm,
for collaborations,
mhm,
I literally just the how I choose, like I just work with my friends.
okay.
Um if you like I love collaborating. I love working on music with people. I haven't really worked with anyone like in person, but even just like sending files
Mm,
back and forth, sending mixes back and forth. Um I'd say like my closest like music friends right now are definitely like Effie, and Flavor Dash and Dayrick, Hevel. Like these are just people that like I think to start with we become mutual fans of each other,
Mm.
or one of us sees the other somewhere, maybe like in a story post or on Twitter, and we'll just become close and develop a relationship. Um but yeah, that's how I choose. I like to work with my friends on music.
Mm.
That's a huge part for me. That's a huge part of enjoying this whole thing for me. It's definitely working with my friends on stuff.
Okay, so the funny thing is that so most of the artists you name are so from the Korean urban scene, and um, so I wanted to ask you like if like you maybe thought about progressing more on the Korean urban scene, like maybe trying to catch the Korean public attention, or if it's just
I'll say like it was never really my intention to try to appeal to
okay,
like the Korean underground scene, but funny enough, the people that I've gotten close to were in the Korean scene. So
okay,
like I think I saw Effie on SoundCloud, and then I DM'd her and I was like, "You're fire," and then she was like, "You're fire too," and then we've just been. I think me and her have been friends for like maybe like almost like 2 years now.
okay.
So we've been close for a minute, and same thing with Derek. But and like before I knew it, like since working with Effie and Derek and Flavor Dash, I've like garnered like a decent amount of my fans from like Korea. Like if I go on my
Mm.
SoundCloud stats, like a good portion of my listeners are in like Seoul and Daegu and here and there in Korea. But it was never really I was never like
Mm.
let me try to like get more Korean because I don't even rap in Korean. I don't
Yeah.
sing. So I think it's awesome that like Korean fans that I have Korean fans, which is like
Mm.
it's crazy to me because I don't know if they understand what I'm saying, but like I think it's cool that they discovered me from me working with my friends.
Mm. And so, since you talk about that, did you ever thought about writing some lyrics in Korean, or that's not something you would like to, maybe in the future, or not at all?
Yeah.
Like,
No, I definitely want to. Like
okay,
right now, I'm just so like I haven't tried it. I've never tried it. I don't
okay,
know why. I probably should.
okay,
I think like I think my Korean is passable. But my it's I'm not like super fluent. I can definitely like carry a conversation with someone or text someone in Korean. But there's really no reason for me not having rapped in Korean yet. But yeah, definitely something I will do in the future for sure.
okay. So, like, don't forget when you will release like a full EP in Korean or something like that.
Maybe that would be crazy.
Okay, no, just to tell you why. Okay,
Also, I don't rhyming in Korean is very hard. Like I'll start rhyming the same
okay.
like freestyling in Korean. It's definitely like it's way harder for me to write in Korean for
Okay.
lyrics.
Yeah, it makes sense though. Like, yeah, I don't know, it just since you are more used to like speaking in English, like on your day to
Mhm.
day, and I think it makes sense. I just want to tell you that I asked you this question because recently I heard about an artist who is called Sid Sion or Sid. I don't know how she pronounced it, but well, she's a Korean artist, but I think she's also a Kyopo, and her agency or label explained that she pretty much started in the US, but then one day she was like, okay, now I want to do my career in South Korea, and she decided to go there and to really progress
Hmm.
on this scene. So that's why I wanted to ask you that if one day you were envisioning this or not, because that's not yeah, that's not like an obvious move to do. So yeah.
Yeah, I like funny enough, me and my like Korean music friends definitely always talk about like when are you gonna come to Korea and like start like obviously when post COVID, but like starting to do shows there and work with other Korean producers and artists there. But
Mm,
I just like right now I just don't have the time, energy, and resources to. But I would definitely like to go. I would definitely like to spend some time in Korea and work there for a little bit. That would be
mm.
amazing.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so the next question is a weird question, and so do you have like any mistakes or regrets? And if not, it's okay.
I definitely have
Okay.
mistakes and regrets. I'm trying to. One I can think off the top of my head was when I, in like 2018 or 2019, I got
Okay.
my SoundCloud hacked,
Yeah.
and like I don't know how they did it exactly, but I don't think my password at the time was very like case sensitive and had a bunch. It was definitely a very easy password to guess. But I didn't really think anyone would be that. I think when I was first starting, I was like, no one's gonna, who would want to hack my SoundCloud? But
Mm.
someone definitely hacked my SoundCloud and like fucked up my page. But thankfully, I got it back, and I definitely have a password that no one's ever going to guess.
Okay.
Um, I'm trying to think of maybe some more. Any mistakes or regrets? Hmm. Oh, I say like my biggest regret is not
Okay.
taking music seriously earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Like I wish I had started
Mm.
taking it seriously when I was like a freshman in high school. Like
Mm-hmm.
even those 3 extra years would have been so much more help.
Mm.
Um, so yeah, I definitely wish I'd started taking it seriously earlier.
Okay.
And
Okay.
like I'd say in high school, like my freshman through senior year, I was focused a lot more on having fun. Definitely a lot more focused on girls and drugs and drinking and going than what I was gonna do after high school. So I wish I had started focusing a lot earlier.
Mm. Okay. So overall, and I think the answer will be yes, but like, would you say making music and music in itself change you and your life?
Yeah, 100%. Um, I think it I think it changed my life when I was 10 when I
Mm,
heard Lil Wayne for the first time. When I started when like the first time I picked up a guitar,
mm,
I think it changed. Like I think my life could have definitely gone one way. And then I discovered music and I just definitely
yeah.
I'm grateful for that for sure. Yeah, it definitely changed my life for the better, I think. I think without music I wouldn't have something I would be doing something I didn't love. And
Mm,
music is definitely like the only like there's nothing else I want to do other than music. Like I would rather go broke and be homeless than not being able to do
mm,
music. You know, I'm not there yet, but definitely like I would like to do music as a career. Like that's definitely like I said, it's definitely the love of my life.
mm. Okay, so the question is basically so linked with your answer. So, what are your plans, your hopes for the future, like short terms or long term? And also, are there other artists you would like to collaborate with, or like dream collabs or thing like that?
I'll say short term and long term. I definitely want to the obvious one is obviously keep putting out more music and getting better at my craft, but I need to do more videos. I need to put more music videos out.
Mm,
That's something that I'm really trying to focus in on. I think like the hard thing with that is I haven't found this is probably just my excuse, but I haven't found the right videographer and director to like build like an aesthetic for my videos with, because I've definitely had opportunities where people have reached out and be like, hey dude, I fuck with you. If you want to shoot a video sometime, let's do it. But I put out like a music video on Shades to the Kim like a while back for Loner, but I don't really
mhm.
consider that anymore, but I want my first music video to be something special. I want the production quality to be high.
Mhm.
I like if I put out a video for one of my songs, I definitely want it to be like in contention with any artist that's out right now for like the best video of the year. So like I don't want to put out just some random
Mhm.
shots of me like walking around the town or something like that. I want my video to be I want it to be a movie. So making more music videos and like locking in with someone or a team that I can lock in with for videos is something that's
Mhm.
definitely on my list. Um as for artists that I want to work with, my dream collab has always been Frank Ocean because
Mhm.
he's definitely one of my favorite, if not he's definitely one of my favorite artists of all time. So Frank Ocean is like my like dream collab. Um, Other than that, artists that I've want to work with for a while now would be I want to work with Tommy Ice. Me and Tommy are cool, but like we just haven't got the right song. So definitely want to do a song with Tommy
Mhm.
Ice. I definitely want to do a song with PPG Casper, um, Glaive, Eric DOA, Breakins. Those guys are definitely artists that I would like to work with. And obviously I want to keep making more music with my friends like Effie, Derek, Flavor Dash, Havel Yes Jr. Um, oh, I want to work with his SoundCloud is like K Smart Boy. I
Yeah,
don't know. Is
but
that
it's
Lil?
super long. Like, yeah, I see. He worked with just Yes Juno 24 on an MV like last week,
Yeah,
and
and Lil Kirby.
mhm.
I think I definitely want to do a song with Lil Kirby as well.
I think I see that you follow also Jan or Lilian.
Young.
Uh,
Yeah,
yeah.
definitely I'm definitely gonna do something with them soon. We haven't really talked that much about it, but I definitely want to do a song with them.
Mhm. Okay, so we are on the with question now.
Okay.
So, is there a question you ever dreamed to be asked? And if yes, can you answer it?
Yeah, probably there's probably one that I'm not thinking of, but off the top of my head, it's probably be like top top movies and top anime is probably like a good
Okay,
question for me. And I'll
okay.
answer those. I'd say like my top few anime, no order,
Mhm.
is Your Lie in April.
Okay.
That anime made me cry. Um yeah, it's so good. Your Lie in April, Hunter x Hunter, Attack on Titan, and then like a few basic ones, but ones that definitely had a big impact on me are like Naruto and Dragon Ball Z.
Mhm.
Um yeah, those are some animes that I really like. Um my favorite, I can't think of too many, but I'll say like my favorite movie of all time is Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, starring Jim Carrey. That film is just an absolute masterpiece and gets me emotional in my feelings and has me rethinking my entire. Hold on, I have it right here. Wait, my girlfriend got me this.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, shout out to Mary. Um, but yeah, that's definitely my favorite movie of all time. Jim Carrey is one of my favorite actors of all time as well.
Mhm.
But that and Perks of Being a Wallflower is up there as well. But Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. If you have not watched this, definitely go check this out. Change
Okay,
your life.
I will make I will make the notes. No, I don't think I ever watched it. No,
So good.
I need to, but I have a lot of movies to watch. Like I have
Yeah,
a full list, and I don't have much
same.
time.
Me neither.
Yeah. I must disagree on your top anime though, but okay, that's fine.
Okay, all right.
No, they are good. They are good. I'm joking. No, my favorite anime is
Uh-huh.
basically Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. I must
Yeah,
admit.
I will say that's a perfect anime. There's I can't pick out one flaw in Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Like I definitely binged that in like a week.
Yeah.
Definitely like top 10. And
Yeah. No. No.
so is Death Note is up there as well.
Yeah.
But
And
I've
an
definitely
anime.
watched like a lot of anime. Like I've watched like
Yeah.
probably over like 100 at this point. Definitely, well, I'll also say just like Overlord is definitely up there. Tokyo
Okay.
Ghoul, just the first
Yeah.
season. Well, like
Yeah.
people talk shit about the second season of Tokyo Ghoul, but I liked it. I know the manga is a lot better, but Tokyo Ghoul is great. Um, I like a lot of isekai. I like reincarnation as a slime. I don't think I'm saying the name right, but the slime anime is up
Mm.
there. Right now I'm watching Jujutsu Kaisen. It's
Mm-hmm.
so good. Also God of High School, also Tower of God. Also, there's another isekai that's like I reincarnated as a spider or something like that, but that's also
Okay.
fire. Um, I could go on and on, but oh, I forgot to mention Black Clover. Black
Mm.
Clover is great. Also Bleach, and people are gonna try to burn me to death for saying this, but One Piece is not that great.
To be honest, I agree with you. So,
I feel like I'm
uh,
gonna get canceled for saying that.
so to conclude this interview, is there anything you would like to say to your supporters or to whoever you want?
To anyone who enjoys my music or like even likes me as a person, thank you and I love you dearly. I literally couldn't do what I do without you guys. And I hope you will continue to support me. Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah.